Welcome back to another episode of the Slice Tennis Podcast presented by Betway. You see them up here in the top right corner. You should also see them on your phone if you download the app. Well, however you want to do your sports gambling, you know you should do it with Betway. We have an awesome show for you. We know the Wimbledon finals went down and we're not going to say another classic, but it was a great match. It was great to see Sinner get over the hump, but there's a lot of things we have to break down and digest about that match. Of course, we got to talk about my girl Anisamova. If you don't follow us on Twitter, follow The Slice, follow Steven, follow JP. We made some waves with a little bit of her story. Then there were some haters in the replies after a tough performance in Wimbledon, but we'll break all of that down. We're going to give you the best bet of the day. We're going to give you the Eala hour. She's chilling. Not going to spoil it too much, but stick around for that. And then we're going to break down the men's final also. Steven, where are you right now?
I'm back home in Kamloops.
Okay, I know. I haven't. Okay, gotcha. I was about to say I haven't seen these paintings before.
Yeah, no, I just did a little reno in the house, and I thought, some bluish. No, I'm at my parents' house here in Kamloops, and it's great to be here. Home of champions. Logan Stankoven just signed 8-year, $48 million contract with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Come on.
So that's your new team, right, in hockey?
That's my team.
That's your team. They've made some big offseason moves. I'll say they locked him in long term. He was their number one producer, I believe, in the playoffs, and he was still technically a rookie last year. He's like 5'9", 160 pounds from Kamloops to the show. Big money. Took care of his parents now. Awesome story. And you guys have made some other big. You got I forget his name now. Nikolai Ehlers from the Winnipeg Jets to Carolina. I think you guys will look a lot better this year.
So we're prepping for a cup run.
You are, honestly, and you were made it to the semifinal. You were in the last four last year. You got absolutely killed by Florida, but I think you can do better this year with the current group.
For sure.
Sorry, my mom just said 58 million, I believe, is what he signed for, not 48.
Miss Boughton is our fact checker. For those that don't know, if you're new to the show, Steven's mom, sometimes she'll chime in to let us know when we're wrong. Hopefully she can help us out with some name pronunciations too. But
yeah,
just
probably.
In case you guys hear her, she is hired.
Not. No, it was 48 million, Mom. I just looked that up. That's hilarious. She'll get maybe she's in Canadian dollars, 58.
Yeah.
Oh, he's 5'8", not okay. You know what? This is getting crazy. He's 5'8", not 5'9". That's tough for our short king over there. But he's making the money, so no one's gonna be making fun of him. But my week, I'm home, so we're hanging out, debriefing after Wimbledon. Pretty much 3 weeks of coverage, so need that golf tournament this week up here in the area. So I'll be doing that. Actually, in the middle of last week, I played in like another one-day event, and I made money.
Yo, what?
So actually, my team won or came second place, and I walked home with like $250. So I was like plus money going to the golf course, which never happens.
Was this like an event, or is it like in the Southeast they have these G Pro tournaments that you can do?
No, it was just like a fun like business event, but like it was kind of crazy. Like, speaking of the best bet of the day, like it was these two-person teams and best ball, so your net score on each hole is what counted, and then you could also essentially bet on any of the other teams to win, like horse racing, and then people were fighting over it. So like the stakes would go up. So like our team, people put like $350 to own our team, and then we could buy back like 30% of our team because it's our own IP,
right?
And then we ended up getting second. So if we had come first, which we should have, I think we would have split like $2,500 or something like that. But
did you choke on the last hole?
No, we choked on like multiple holes during the middle of it. Like we had the potential to have won by like 4 strokes, but I missed a 2-foot putt at one point, which
Steven,
which was tough. That's tough. But my partner, I don't even really know who he is, but nice enough guy. But I will just say he did not help either in a lot of big moments. But this is way too much about me. But I'm the higher handicap player, and they're always like, "Oh, you have all these shots, so you can like make up all this room for us." I'm like, "Well, I'm higher handicap for a reason." Like,
right.
It's not like now that I have 15 shots on this course, now I'm just going to all of a sudden be scratched. Like, that's not happening.
If I see water, I'm going in the water.
Yeah, pretty much. or I'm going to top the ball off the tee, which I did once, which was painful. But anyways, that was my week. Now it's a lot of golf, hanging out, and kind of trying to recap Wimbledon. So I'm excited to do that with you after I hear about your week.
Yeah, man, my week, honestly, well, it was a lot of Wimbledon. Obviously, we were busy doing some work stuff as well, but a lot of Wimbledon, a lot of rain in Nashville, so I wasn't outside as much as I would have liked to have been. But I was fired up to tap into it because I felt like this was the most involved on the internet that I've been with Wimbledon. Just with certain tweets out there, arguing with some people, of course, all in good fun, all in the defense of my girl, Amanda Anisamova. But overall, man, it was a great week. And I'm excited this is what actually makes it so great is that though leaving the Wimbledon finals, it made me so ready for the US Open. Because I feel like we're going to see Alcaraz and Sinner back in there. And I know Alcaraz wants his get back. And when Alcaraz wants his get back, it's going to be fireworks and it's going to be fun to watch. But before we get more into that, we got to talk about the best bet of the day presented by Betway. Hit an ace with Betway and get up to $200 if your first bet loses, plus 50 bonus spins no matter the result. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions always apply, and this offer is not available in Ontario. You must be 19 and up. Please play responsibly.
Yeah.
Where are we? Where are we in the world this week?
Well, we've got little 250s, post-Wimbledon 250s. There's this kind of little clay swing that goes on in Europe. It's kind of insane right after Wimbledon. I used to be there, so I'm going to go to Gstaad, Switzerland for our best bet of the day because, as we just posted on our Instagram at the Slice Tennis, which you should go watch, that's where Casper Ruud originally dropped the banger on me of, that's okay, if you think I'm a pusher, that's great, we should play, and we'll see who's pushing then. Which is what he said to all of his haters online, which there are many. So he's there. He's returned. I believe he did not play at Wimbledon due to injury. So he is back in action, and he'll be playing Wednesday versus Dominic Stricker, who is a Swiss player, very talented, but he has a lot of upside. He got pretty high in the world. He had a good run at the US Open, I want to say in 2023. But hasn't really done anything since then. I don't even know what his ranking is right now. But anyway, Casper Ruud's the big favorite at minus 334, plus 250 for Stricker. So they're not giving him no chance for sure. But my best bet of the day is just sticking with Casper Ruud because I believe he's won this tournament 3 years in a row or something like that. Like he kind of is like, and if you go to that venue, which I've been to, it's just like it's smaller than your local club, and then they just builds it, but it's right in the middle of this tiny quaint town in the Swiss Alps. It's one court or it's two courts at this area. Boom, boom. There's a train going like right above it, essentially, or beside it on the mountain. Downtown is beautiful. And it's just like, but it's kind of Wild West. Like, I think players that are used to tournament play are just going to be like, whoa, this is a weird setting. And then Casper Ruud's there so comfortable and he's bombing it on you. I just don't see him losing that match or many matches there at all. So I think it's pretty safe to ride with Casper this week.
Possibly sprinkle the future on him. Take the first round. Minus 330, honestly, it's clearly he's the favorite, but you can get decent money back if you go bigger responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's because he's coming back from injury, so they're probably not sure how he's going to feel. But
yeah,
and it's true. He could show up just to defend that title because he does. That's been good money for him there. He's taking that Swiss coin.
That Swiss coin, baby. Next, we got our Alex Eala hour. She's taking a breather, Steven. She's back in the Philippines. She posted a photo. I think it's with her father. Let's see. Oh, her uncle. They were doing some WTA events and in the Philippines, and she's back home. She's chilling. It seems like she's enjoying her time.
Yeah, and we had some people post I saw a picture on her story and from Manila, all of her beautiful family. It's like at least 100 people there. Well,
yep.
I can't, maybe 50. I don't know. A lot of people. And I would love to know. We talked about baking we did get some, I don't have the comments in front of me, but we talked about on Instagram, what are the Filipino pastries? Cause she was distributing bagels and breadsticks on the grass.
Right.
So we had a lot of people chime in. So leave your comment down below. We're doing the comment response later. what are the best Filipino baked goods. And we'll be looking for her to distribute more because I think, back to the hard court, she had that great run in Miami. That's where we're headed, back to the court. In North America, IMG is going to be helping and getting her into places, good spots to win, getting their player ready. So, yeah, I think the Alex Eala Hour, we're going to have lots to talk about in the next few weeks.
Yeah, she's going to be, the next tournament she's playing in is the 1000 event in Canada. So she will be out there in, where are they, Montreal?
Yeah.
So and then it's also looking like her current ranking is 56. So she's improved that as well. So
yes,
keep an eye on her hard court. This is the time she showed out in Miami, like Steven said. North America might be her spotlight.
I like how she's taking time off to go be back with the family. She'll play. Sounds like she'll play Canada, then Cincinnati, then the U.S. Open. So big tournaments.
Love it. That is our Alex Eala Hour. Shout out to everybody that tunes in to the Eala Hour every week. We appreciate you. We see the comments. Now, who do we want to start with, Steven?
Let's start with the men's final because we're going to talk more about the tennis in the men's. Right. We're going to talk about the kind of the fallout of the women's.
Yeah, we only have 56 minutes of tennis to talk about with the women's.
Yeah, we could dedicate like a minute of commentary to a minute of play. Or maybe like a 30-second discount, 50% discount. We could put a half an hour there, but really, we'll get to that. But the men's final, JP, I mean, coming into it, you're like, this is things in life don't work out too often, like exactly how you want them to. And after the French Open final, all of us were like, we would like that again. More, please. Rewind it. We want to see how Wimbledon shakes out, but we're all secretly hoping for Sinner Alcaraz in the final. And that's what we got. So coming in, I don't think the expectations could really be higher, which can always leave you disappointed. And this match I wouldn't say from my perspective it wasn't just objectively like an epic like the French, but the level at some of the parts of this final on a grass court is just sickening level, so high. And it's just amazing that we get to keep watching that.
Yeah, I mean, to start it off in the first set when Alcaraz, obviously he's down a break, comes back and he hits that insane like running backhand drop shot when he's just like full sprint. It's like kind of not a drop shot, but you know what I'm talking about.
I think that was that the set point where he won it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of it's like slice defense, but Sinner was so far off the court, he just dropped back in and it's a winner. And he's just like,
I mean, that happens and I'm like, straights, it's over. There's no way Sinner's going to beat him.
Yeah, you got to be sick if you're Sinner, because I kind of think Sinner played the more, and we'll talk about this, but that he did play the more aggressive first set, and it was up a break. He got broken back to tie, and then Alcaraz broke to win that set. And you're just like, oh my gosh, everything that happens in this rivalry goes Alcaraz's way, and especially on Wimbledon. I was like, that's the swagger that we've seen Alcaraz play with on Wimbledon center court, and now Sinner's the latest victim in set one here. Just right at the biggest moment. Alcaraz didn't even play a great set. Boom, wins the set.
Dude, wins the set. And then, of course, as fans, you're watching and the first thing in your head is like, mentally, Sinner's done. He's not going to be able to do it, but he proved he was far, far from done. And Alcaraz, I know you were tweeting about it, but bro, his first serves were starting to drive me insane for him. Of just like, I'm like sitting there on the couch just throwing my hands up like, bro. Like,
you just can't make him.
I'm pissed off. I can't imagine how you're feeling right now.
Yeah. And he was below, I forget the number. I think it was 53% or 56% for the match, but it was definitely below 60. And I think you have to be above 60 to compete. Like fit above 60% first serves in. And, ideally you want to be 65, 70%. So that was, and themes of the match, like, I really try to not come off too pious and be like, oh, I'm going to find 10 different ways that Sinner won. Like, it can be pretty simple. And Sinner's coach said it before the match. He said, honestly, this will probably come down to who serves better. And Sinner served better. And he was the more aggressive player. That's the other big thing. He was the more aggressive player in the first set, and he made more unforced errors than Alcaraz. And Alcaraz won that set. So Alcaraz won the battle, but Sinner won the war. Like, Sinner had the game plan of like, I'm going to be the more aggressive player, take it to Alcaraz, and take away his time. And he did that. And that's, I don't know if you saw Alcaraz talking about the match afterwards, but he said that he's like, from the baseline, Sinner was just better than me. I didn't know what to do. And when he was playing that aggressively, like I didn't have time to figure out how to beat him. And that was, he just stayed on me the whole rest of the match.
Well, dude, how many times right after Alcaraz would serve would he just get caught in that no man's land of like just in front of the service line, and then the ball gets hit basically right to his feet, and he lifts up a muffin for Sinner, who top 3 worst things to be in the world, a soft moving ball towards Jannik Sinner, because that man will crush any forehand or backhand. And like Ben Shelton was saying, it's like he plays in super speed. And dude, I mean, anytime Alcaraz just pretty much didn't put his all into it, you know the ball is about to get demolished, and you just got to pray that you can get to it if you're Alcaraz.
Yeah, and he said because he was missing so many first serves, he was hitting so many second serves, and like you said, Sinner's just demolishing, being super aggressive on the second serve return. And you know, Sinner's taller than Alcaraz, and it really felt like the court was slanted that way a lot of the match, because Sinner's just committed to playing big, coming in behind it. And I was really shocked to see, like, and it made sense, but at the end of the match, Sinner came to the net almost twice as much as Alcaraz did. And if you had told me that before the match, I would have not really believed you that. So to me, it was really impressive. We can get to like what it means to each guy to see Sinner commit to something that he's not the more comfortable guy at net. Alcaraz has always come to net way more than Sinner, but Sinner had like a game plan. And it's really cool to see like write down something like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to actually have the bravery to enact it. And he did.
Well, dude, you saw his coaches. They said nobody watches more Alcaraz matches than Sinner, because he loves to study him, how he moves on court. Nobody else obviously is moving like Alcaraz, and Sinner feels like he can learn the most from watching Alcaraz, because Alcaraz is better than him in a lot of those areas. And it's nuts because after Dimitrov played so well against Sinner, and Sinner was getting ready to play Djokovic, everybody is saying, okay, the blueprint is out there to beat Sinner. Bring him to the net, get the drop shots, like get him moving around. And then you see what happens when he comes to the net in the final. It's like, oh, okay, maybe the blueprint doesn't actually exist yet.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a bit of an asterisk on that Dimitrov match, because, and there's a bunch of people after the final, like putting Dimitrov's picture up, like, oh, he could have won Wimbledon. It's like, that's not how this works, brother. But because Sinner fell on his elbow like early on in that match. So he was like disturbed by that. So that had to have played into him going down 2-0. I still think Sinner would have, I believe Sinner would have pulled out that match, or even if he did, you know, you got to stay healthy. Like that's at the end of the day, it has nothing to, Dimitrov did nothing wrong. It's very unlucky, but you know, I don't think that was a good litmus test for the level that Sinner had going forward. So that's why I picked Sinner to beat Djokovic, and I picked him to beat Alcaraz as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just, with his power on the court, it's a slipperier court, ball doesn't bounce as high. He's more comfortable with a high pace match than Alcaraz is. And even some of those, there was one point, I think it was the set point where Alcaraz won it in the first set. He hit one of those forehands, those cross court forehands. It was like a can opener in the point, and that made Sinner run out over the court, off the edge of the court, and then he slapped it down the line, and then Alcaraz sliced it back and won the point. It was that can opener forehand that does so much damage at the French. Like at the French Open, he was hitting that forehand and it bites off the dirt and goes out all match long, and he was making Sinner move more than he wanted to laterally. But it's so hard to hit that shot and have it be as effective on grass, and so much more of the match is just played between the kind of the sidelines, right? And either Sinner's coming forward or he's hitting it harder from the baseline.
What did you make of I know John McEnroe, he was talking about a lot on the broadcast. Whenever Sinner had a second serve, he kept saying how Alcaraz was standing so far back, which was shocking him, because he's like, what? You know, if somebody that's hitting as hard as Sinner, why would you be so far back? I don't know if you have any insight on it. I didn't know. I just heard him talking about it. I'm like, yeah, from a common sense standpoint, it doesn't make sense why he would be that far back.
Yeah, I don't know why he was, but I do know that Alcaraz said in this press conference, which I just watched before this, that he was saying Sinner attacked his second serves really well, and I didn't do a good job attacking Sinner's second serves. So part of that could have been game plan. I know him and Juan Carlos talk a lot, so potentially during the match, Juan Carlos could have said, try standing back on the second serves and just like hitting high, heavy ball backwards. But I think John's point would be on grass, like a high, heavy ball doesn't really matter. Like the ball's not going to bounce that high. Sinner's 6'3", so it's really hard to get it too high on him. But what he should be doing is trying to take those early and like chip and charging on the second serve, or like just getting it deep fast. Essentially, the closer you stand to the baseline, the faster you can get it to the opponent's baseline. Like just physics. You know, I'm not a math guy, but just physics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Alcaraz just didn't have maybe he just didn't have as clear of a game plan, because he's like, I've won the last 2 Wimbledons over Djokovic, and so if I just go out there and play my best tennis, I'm probably going to win. And that could have been true. He didn't play his best tennis though. He didn't serve well. So then he just has that handicap. And then from the baseline and on return, it didn't seem like he had a huge game plan. Like I was expecting him to slice the ball a lot more and put Sinner into these awkward spots and try and get to the net. But then also you could see his drop shot wasn't working that well. Like he wasn't hitting it great. Right. And that's because he was under pressure. But, you know, so he started to seem like the fighter who gets punched in the nose early and starts to just kind of, you know, look for it.
He was bleeding in the water, and he's just, you know, he's showing his emotion to his box. He's getting visibly upset with himself. And like we were talking about before the show, it's like the least amount of fun. If Alcaraz is having like the smallest amount of fun, he's probably playing bad. If he's having a lot of fun, he's playing really good. And you could see he was pissed off and he was playing horrible. And then in that fourth set, in those last 2 games, like he started to smile, and you could see him start making more of these drop shots, making more shots that you're used to seeing him make. And then, but you know, too little, too late. Somebody as good as Sinner, you can't just turn it on in the last couple games. But it was fascinating to see it truly came after he started smiling that he started to raise his level. I'm like, man, if they can figure out, because I don't know how you would ever stay happy throughout a full tennis match, especially against somebody like Sinner. But if he can figure out how to stay in that mindset, then he would truly be unbeatable.
Yeah. And yeah, I think honestly, the first bit of that second set, Alcaraz he kind of took his foot off the gas a bit, and he let Sinner get out to a quick lead, and then that set was over and 1-1. And you've seen that Alcaraz's level can go up and down throughout a match. And yeah, he was down a break, I believe. Sinner was up a break in the 4th set, and you're like, okay. And then there's a couple of times where Alcaraz got it back. It was like, say, 40-15 on Sinner's serve, and then Alcaraz won 2 points. It was like deuce. And there was one time where Alcaraz is smiling again to his box, and I'm like, if Sinner doesn't close this out, or if he gets broken here, I'm just going flashbacks to the French Open. Like if this goes 5 sets, we know who's winning this match, and it ain't Jannik Sinner. That was what I was thinking. I don't know about you.
Oh, I'll tell you what I was thinking. I went on Betway, and I put in the live bet on Alcaraz to win. And that did not turn out well for me, but that's how good I was feeling. I saw him smiling. I saw him get there. I said, oh my gosh, there's so much value out there right now on this pick. And I was wrong. But it was fun. It made it fun. Responsibly.
But and Alcaraz was having fun, and like that's where it does get scary. And I think he wasn't able to have that fun, no fault of his own, when you're getting the ball crushed at you by Sinner. And like again, he said afterwards, he just felt like he had no time. Sinner was hitting it so clean from the baseline and so powerful. Alcaraz really likes to have the ball in front of him and have time to put the Spanish on the ball that he likes, and just wasn't able to do that versus Sinner. So the real challenge, what I'm excited to see going forward, and because let's just talk like bigger themes of their rivalry, because the next mountain for Alcaraz to climb kind of, I think now is kind of clear, which is exciting for me, because he's established himself as, I would say, like so far the best player. The best player. I mean, he's already so all time. It's amazing, but he's definitely, I would say, he's the best player after the big 3 era
for sure.
And he's already one of the greatest players of all time. And like even after this loss, he's still, like easily up there for the most clutch players ever conversation. Yeah. But his next hill to climb is like, can I conquer Sinner on a fast surface at a major? Can I beat him at the US Open? Can I beat him at the Australian Open? Because if you think of like 2023 until now, Sinner Alcaraz has won his 4 majors on the grass and clay, and Sinner's won Australia twice, the US Open once, and they've never played it in 2023 till now. They haven't played at either of those tournaments. So that's gonna be like the next battle, and I feel like Alcaraz will get up for a challenge like that, and on the US Open is probably a better chance for him than in Australia. But I'm gonna love watching that happen,
dude, in New York. And it's just like in their last 6. Still, if you're Alcaraz, you gotta look in our last 6 against each other. I'm 5-1. Yeah, but man, 5-1 has never felt closer after Wimbledon. And so if you're Sinner, it's like it feels like all he needed was the one. It's like you just gotta, if it's basketball, you just gotta see one go in. And he saw his one go in, and now all of a sudden it doesn't really feel like the record is 5-1 in their last 6. It feels like they're pretty even, and we don't really know who's going to perform better in the majors now that Sinner was able to do it like this, especially dealing with the crowd, dealing with all the noise still around his name with, the suspension and everything. Like all of that stuff on a 22, 23-year-old weighs on you. And then especially when people start talking about that you're not clutch. And so I feel like this was a massive mental hurdle for him that he cleared, and 1-5, 5-1, none of it matters anymore.
Yeah, for real. And that I'm excited because I said before, I think this Wimbledon final mattered more to Sinner than Alcaraz. Yeah. For Sinner's belief, for Sinner's, being like, I'm 6-0 in the last matches. It's hard to call that like a rivalry. Obviously it still is a rivalry, but it's one-way traffic. But you're totally right. We're back. Immediately we're back. And you're only as good as your last at bat to have another sports reference. But yeah, I really look forward to hopefully them playing in the US Open final. Although I would love to see some of our other guys like win a major, and I would love to not have it be so. I don't want another big 3 era in a way, but
I know
it'll make those wins. It'll make any time now that, because the last time Alcaraz has lost at a major, it was Djokovic at the Australian. And it felt like Alcaraz he hadn't played well since Wimbledon the previous year. So that was a while that he'd been off. But now he seems like I can't really imagine him losing to Djokovic, to be honest, like currently in this form.
Yeah. And we even hear Djokovic kind of speak on it a little bit of like, man, I'm just old. Or like when it gets late into the tournaments, it's just hard to play against a young guy.
That's for real. And and then Sinner's only he's at a major, he's only lost to Alcaraz at the French. He won Australia, won the US Open, lost to Medvedev Wimbledon last year, but that seems like an eternity ago as well.
What is it? Medvedev is the only player to beat them both in in Grand Slam tournaments.
That's actually I think that's right. That's actually insane. Legendary stat for Medvedev. But yeah, I think where I was going. So I would love to see them play the US Open, because one of the main things will be, how does Alcaraz make Sinner uncomfortable from the baseline? And he can, when he's using the height and his spin, he can actually get, because the ball's going to bounce up high at the US Open. Right. He can actually get it out there. So I think he has like a pretty good chance there if they make it to the final. But yeah, Alcaraz has thrown in some poor performances at the US Open over the last few years, like lost to Medvedev, lost to, who did he lose to last year? Botic van de Zandschulp.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Botic, but I'm pretty sure it was Botic.
Legend for him.
Legendary. But yeah, I'm couldn't be more excited for this. It was Botic for this rivalry going forward, and it's in a great place. Like Sinner's, he's the top dog right now. He's won their last match, and he currently holds Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open. He currently holds those 3 titles. So yeah, he's definitely the number 1 player in the world.
They the last things I have on their match was just their post match press conferences. And dude, Alcaraz, does the guy sweat? Because anytime after every single match, I see him, his hair looks the exact same. He never really looks winded. He just looks like he came straight out of whatever, just like a normal everyday at the house.
Yeah. I'm sure he's like, to me, it looks like he got showered, and then his manager hands him a nice steamed Nike shirt, no wrinkles on it, if you notice that.
Yep.
And to me, it looks like he's going ready to party. Like, yeah, I think he's got that club booked out, win or lose, and he's going to have a good time, blow off some steam, and get ready for the hard court swing after shutting it down in London for one more night.
And then good moment too for Sinner's brother. Sinner kind of took the dig at him. He's like, thank God there's not a F1 race this weekend, so my brother could be here. I'm like, his brother probably just hits him up like, yo, Yannick, you mind if you give me some tickets to Monte Carlo this week? Like, hey, bro, I'm in Wimbledon this week. Like, you think you come? Man, it's a big race. Like, I'm like, dude, Sinner's brother.
I'm actually in the final.
Chilling. Yeah. You remember Carlos Alcaraz? Oh yeah, I think that's the guy that beat you last one. Yeah, I'm playing him again. Oh, nice. Well, good luck, man.
Yeah, good luck. Don't choke this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Italian fans, I didn't say choke. I don't believe Sinner ever choked. I'm just making a joke. Because it is great to see after I picked Sinner to win the last two matches. The Italians are very much on my side right now, and they're loving.
They're in the comments. The like, you're right again.
They're like, congratulations. You're like, you can see the future. You're our new pope.
We're just making the safest plays of all time. Yeah, I think my prediction: Alcaraz is Sinner in the final U.S. Open. Like, dang, these guys know their stuff.
Sinner to win. Yeah. So okay, I think that's a pretty good wrap up. Leave your thoughts on Sinner Alcaraz in the comments below. We'll get to them next week, and then we'll get to the current ones after we talk about the women's final. The women's final that was very short, under an hour, 6-0, 6-0. Swiatek over Anisamova. I picked Anisamova to win because I was like, it's the magic run. She just beat Sabalenka. I watched that match. Right. She was playing unreal. JP just tweeted about her inspiring story to get there. All that's true. And then 6-0, 6-0 in the final. So, JP, let's get your reaction to that because it's an intense thing.
It's intense, man. The immediate thing I did was look up, has anybody ever won a Grand Slam final 6-0, 6-0? And it's only happened one other time, and it was Steffi Graf. She won. And I believe the match, I think it was the French Open, and I want to say it was like 35 minutes. So I'm already finding ways to let Amanda know, like, hey, it could be worse. And it could have been worse. It could have been 20 minutes shorter. But man, it was so tough because it felt like she just had no time. She had no time for a deep breath in the match at all. With Swiatek just, keeping she has as Coach Connor Casey was saying, like Sinner, that like sociopath, attack on that major. And it was brutal to watch for Anisamova because, dude, I just feel like she was like some of the balls that she was hitting were good balls, and she wasn't catching any lines. Like she could not get one break. She's hit the white part of the net, like the tape part of the net, numerous times, and just all things with all the emotions. She's still only 23 years old. Like everything feels like it's going against you, and you're drowning out there. And so my heart broke for her because I'm also seeing all the people on the internet doing their things of creating accounts with no face behind it and saying all the wild stuff. But I hate it for her, man. But if you're her, head up. You just made $2 million, whatever it was. You made it to a Grand Slam final, and you're back. Like, screw all these people hating on you because they don't matter. And regardless, I don't care if the match only lasted 20 minutes. It was a dub. You were in the Grand Slam final.
Yeah. And, I think two things can be true at the same time. Like, that can be, a disastrous result for her and embarrassing. I think she would say that it was embarrassing. She was crying at the end. It's, of course you wouldn't want to lose like that. That can be true. And it can also be, a great result for her to get to the Wimbledon final. Right. She played a poor match. She didn't play like her best level. Swiatek played very high. And as you said, that could have easily been a 6-1, 6-2 match, which isn't great either, but it's just the score ended up being what it was, and it was a double bagel. But, no one's really going to care a month or two by now, or at the time of the U.S. Open.
Oh, yeah.
You've proven that you just beat the world number one, made the final, and you took that L, but they don't ask how, they ask how many. Like when she comes back and I think eventually wins a major, she's, it's not really going to matter. But, again, two things can be true at the same time. I think it was not great for women's tennis to see a final like that. It was just, not an entertaining final. And then you're comparing it now against like Sinner and Alcaraz playing in every single major final on the men's side of things. But the storyline of her getting there is super inspiring and resilient. And yeah, she just played a bad match, and we've seen that a lot of times. Like we've seen guys like Casper Ruud lose to Nadal or Djokovic in the final of the French, like 6-2, 6-3, 6-2, which is, there's not that much difference there. The men just have bigger serves essentially, so it's easier for them to hold. We've seen a lot of players who haven't won a major get to the final. They've never played 7 matches in a row at a tournament.
A lot of matches,
their whole life,
man.
probably. It's a lot of matches. And your mom flies in Wimbledon center court. Swiatek's already won 5 majors at that point, I think. Looking back, I don't think that a blowout seems crazy if you're just like setting the stage that way.
Right.
So,
and I love it sucks that it happened. And Chris Everett, she was obviously on the call of the match, and she was talking about after the first set, she's trying to be a little bit encouraging just to the audience, I think, too. She's like, in her first Wimbledon ever, she lost to Billie Jean King 6-0, 7-5. And she was just talking about like getting bageled, and she was able to use that, like the little break in between, as a reset of like, okay, now I have nothing to lose. That was as bad as it could get. But it's like nobody would ever talk about her losing 6-0, 7-5 to Billie Jean King, who's obviously one of the greats of all time. But Swiatek is on her way to being one of the greats of all time.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, lots of opinions. Obviously, it's going to be a polarizing result when it goes down like that.
Dude, I think I'm ready to say that tennis Twitter burners have to be the most like scum of the Twitter burnerverse.
Wow.
Just because, I'm in the burner streets a lot with UFC, with college football, NFL. Like I've seen some stuff. I've seen some tweets. I've seen some people get nasty. I've seen some people get banned. I will never report anybody ever. But I'm looking through some of tennis Twitter and some of the things they say about anyone, and I'm like, man, you guys, there's not even any comedy on your page with your chirps. This is just coming from your basement that probably has no windows. You haven't been in the sun for a while. You're sweating, even though the temperature in your room is set to 65. You're getting Uber Eats to your door, and you have the nerve to talk about people that are out there putting it on the line, putting yourself out there for the opportunity of getting embarrassed. And then we got to sit here and scroll and look at the scumbags tweet from their dark caves like they have accomplished anything in their life. That's what I got to say to them.
JP, showing the emotion. It's true. It is. I think there's a lot of lonely, just weird people in tennis around the world, and there's a lot of people who don't come out, and they like follow and obsess over players, and then they have like really kind of poor mental health, I'm sure, and are just just for some reason think that it's cool to flesh it out on the internet. And I think we see it all the time. Like tennis players get pretty disturbed by seeing what they see on the internet, but I'm like, you got to just I think you just got to not go on the internet in that way. Just not scroll. Not check your mentions. That's like a classic thing. Like but it's interesting to see your take, because you're, like you say, you're in the trenches on all these other sports, and tennis can get more nasty. And I think, especially on the women's side, like it doesn't even sound like the women encourage each other on the WTA. Like they're all siloed with their teams. They don't help each other out. Sounds like Bianca Andreescu's the only one helping other girls out.
She's just the name that always comes up when you ask any player. Is anybody out on tour help you? Yeah, Bianca. Oh, like exactly. Dang, the WTA needs to pay her.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if, and I'm not anti-drama or rumors at all, but I did see this rumor, not sure if it's true, but they're like, Sabalenka, you sicko. She loses to Anisamova. I don't think she liked something about how Anisamova like
Oh yeah.
Was celebrated or something, whatever. Gave her a hug.
She's like, didn't say sorry for like getting a ball that hit the net and went over.
Right. And then Sabalenka, which I love this. I would probably say the same thing. She's like, it's normal to say sorry when you do that and then celebrate. She didn't say sorry. So if she wants to do that, that's okay. I'm allowed to not like that. And then apparently, don't know if this is true, the day of the final, Sabalenka was wearing a red top with a white dress, which is like the Polish flag, which is like Sabalenka, or which is like Swiatek.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know if that was real, but that was very, very funny and petty if true.
Dude. Oh yeah. The last thing I have to say on the burner world is
yes,
you have your burners, but it should be illegal to have a burner account and turn your mentions off. Because that's some punk stuff right there. That's the definition of you can dish it but can't take it. And I saw a few of those quote tweeted me, and I was getting ready to go in there, have some fun, the passive aggressive high road of like, reply. One of my favorite replies is like, so let me know, how much better do you feel after tweeting this, and did you accomplish what you hope to accomplish? And I wasn't able to fire it off on some of them. I'm like, man, let's play. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean, man. There's some disturbed people. They can dish it out. They can't take it. But Anisamova should be proud of her run. She should think back to Wimbledon as like, that was awesome. My first final, and definitely not her last.
This is what you do. If you're a Grand Slam finalist and you're watching this show, I know hopefully a lot of you guys are, and you're worried about logging on to social media, this is a quick thing that you can do. You pull up your phone, don't click Instagram, don't click Twitter. You click your bank account, you click your bank app, and you go to balance, and you click transaction details, and you go look at that top thing that says plus, and then you just see 2 commas in there. And then I think you'll be good. You don't need Instagram or Twitter. You just need the bank app.
That's right. Just look at the bank and smile all the way home.
Yes.
All right. Should we respond to our faithful commenters?
Let's do it.
We had 5 shows out since our last podcast. That's right.
Come on.
And we do have some comments. I was wondering if we actually didn't have any comments because we didn't for a while. But we've got 4 comments, I believe, here. 3 of them very long.
That's good. Let me see.
2 of them from the same person. So I will go with the first one from Odonsky9611. He says, "Hello world," with an exclamation mark.
That's the comment.
That's the comment. Hello, sir.
God,
did you just wake up from a coma? Did you just join YouTube?
Dude,
what's your case? I want to know.
I don't know if you've seen arguably my favorite tweet of all time, which is saying a lot. Like, I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
It was this guy that he tweeted back in like 2015 and said, "I'm about to go take a nap." And then in 2022, he comes back to Twitter and says, "Just woke up." I was like, this might be the greatest account of all time. So Odonsky, maybe that was you. Maybe you're that Twitter account. And if you are, salute to you. All right. I got it pulled up now too.
All right. Go for it.
This one is from Whatever Goes For Me, 5129. Okay. Wow. This is a long one, guys. Lock in. "I would also like to suggest a format for Eala so that you guys can also educate my fellow Filipinos about tennis. Tennis is not popular in the Philippines, and only a few like my family and I are exposed since the 70s. So Filipinos need to know more about this sport." Love this so far. "Maybe since you have an Eala hour, why not analyze the matches where she won? It can be a brief analysis of those matches to draw in Filipino viewers and at the same time educate them about the sport." Okay, now we got an example. This guy's a good coach or girl. For example, why Eala beat Ostapenko, or how Eala won the first set against defending Wimby champion Barbora, or how Eala come back in the second set against Joint. Then discuss what method she used to win and explain in tennis terms. Then you can add her name to the title. Of course, that means you have seen her matches like Cam Williams, who is now educating her Pinoy fans about the sport and what Eala is doing right in the game. However, never analyzed the matches she lost. LOL. Even though I'm Pinoy myself, I get bashed by my fellow Pinoys. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not.
Yeah.
For giving constructive criticism. That's the toxic side of Pinoy fandom, like her weak serves, double faults, etc. He had to get it in there. Plus, I criticize them for throwing shade at Eala's opponents when upsets are not rare in tennis. However, if it is too much work since Eala is not really there yet, you know what I mean, then that's fine with me. Whatever goes for me, 5129. I would like to submit this comment of yours into the Slice Tennis Podcast Comment Hall of Fame, because you're invested. You want to help us get better. You are sharing with us the things that you deal with, and this is perfect. This is what was. I'm glad you felt like this was a safe place to say this, and I appreciate this input big time.
Yeah, and he has another comment on there. You're not gonna believe that. Another big one, which I can take if you'd like.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, you got that one. I'm gonna get some water.
Okay, I think like legit. I think he posted, or he or she posted this other one first, and he goes, if you want Filipinos to go to this channel to view your videos about Eala, Alex Eala Hour, you need to put her name in the title. Of course, the Eala haters will hate you for it, but your videos, as seen in the title, is just not about her. Cam Williams is being loved by the Filipino fans of Eala and also hated on by the Eala haters for covering all of her games. But he was able to draw more viewers by following Eala, since Filipinos are loyal fans compared to the Eala haters who don't even show up to listen to Cam Williams when he was streaming the games of their favorites. I again appreciate the marketing advice. Cam Williams is arguably the tennis YouTube GOAT. He's like, I believe, over 200,000 followers. So we know where the Slice can grow to, and we got to get more on board like Cam Williams. He's a beast. But yeah, we did do that back in Miami. We put out some clips that were just titled with Eala, and you guys did show up big time. So we probably should have done that during her first grass court swing there, clipped some of that. But that's a good reminder that we need to do that to really serve our Filipino fan base the right way.
Yep. In all seriousness, great notes from whatever goes. Last comment here. This one's tough for the Americans. Huge center from Greece, huge center fan from Greece. Center and Sabalenka had the same problem with the Slice. Not for those listening, not this Slice. Center and Sabalenka love the Slice. He's talking about on court. But Center played a much better player, and Dimitrov served incredible. I hope Center is healthy and beat Shelton hard. Chill. Shelton is so cocky and has no respect. All the Americans seem to have an ego problem, but Fritz and Paul are good guys. Tiafoe and Shelton are the worst. They think they can beat anyone, but they haven't proven anything yet. All right. Noxia, I think Steven might agree with you on some of this.
I'm searching, and I'm not sure I see any lies in that. Yeah, I don't know. I think not all Americans have an ego problem, but he did point out that Fritz and Tommy are the good ones. Although I think Tommy has, he can get saucy out there, and I don't think Tiafoe. I know what you mean about Shelton. I do share that view. Yeah, I think Shelton is extremely cocky and does not have a lot of respect.
Tiafoe doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. He's like pretty much always a pretty good vibes guy. Yeah, like he can be emotional or whatever. But I would say, Tiafoe is always, you can always pencil him in to put on a show at the U.S. Open. Yeah, and whether it's early in tournament, late in tournament, but like he does show up in these big moments and provide some fun tennis.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But so wait, I don't even, how did the Americans catch strays? Where was that coming from again? What was the comment about?
Yeah, I don't even know. She hoped that Sinner beats Shelton hard.
And then because this was back from midway through. Yeah. This was from midway through Wimbledon. Well, yeah, you didn't have to hope too hard. I did post, maybe JB, we can address this now. I did say things the American fans don't want to read was that Shelton hadn't won a set off Sinner in like 2 years.
He almost won one this time.
Hey, that's a win for Shelton now, apparently. He almost won a set.
You saw, he was the one that said, I feel like those guys play in super speed. I will say, if there is an American that can I'm not going to say he can hit it as hard as them, but if there's one that can hit it hard, it would be Ben Shelton as opposed to the other guys.
And I think it's a fascinating like note on like the levels of tennis for new fans, for American fans who are, we did see, I saw on some of the videos I did previewing him breaking down the final. He said, maybe this was one of your followers, JP. He said, he was like a UFC account. He said, hey, I'm kind of new to tennis and getting into it, and this channel's helping a ton. But yeah, the levels of tennis, because Ben Shelton has the guns. He does serve bigger, like he has a bigger serve than Jannik Sinner. He can hit the ball just as hard as Jannik Sinner. But Jannik Sinner is consistently hitting the ball probably at a higher pace because he plays more flat and through the court and is, I would say, has better technique on both wings than Shelton. So he's just ready to hit the ball hard a lot more than Shelton is. So that's the levels to the game. Like Shelton has been actually very consistent at the majors. I believe he's made the quarterfinal each major this year and only lost to Sinner and Alcaraz. Pretty good record. But it does seem like there's a pretty big gap between Shelton and Sinner and Alcaraz. If I'm going to be honest, like I don't see him beating them, even if they're at like their B+ game, because it's just not about how hard you can hit the ball and how hard you can serve it. It's about a million other things. It's about being balanced and constructing points and having a game plan like Sinner did in the final against Alcaraz and executing that game plan. And Shelton can improve. Like Shelton can get better.
He's young too,
and then he could get to the level where he's winning. Like I'm not going to put a cap on him. That's the other thing. He obviously has the physical ability to do that. But the levels of the game are crazy. And I also wonder, I would love your thoughts on what I just said, but also college tennis is it's being proven as a very good place to go get good enough for the tours to come on. But for the very elite top of the game, I wonder if you pick up some bad habits in college that aren't going to win you majors because you've just played so many competitive matches that you can get away with stuff by like Shelton just bombing serves kind of won him, I'm sure, a majority of his matches in college. No, I
feel that because I don't know how many years he was there, but I feel like, again, just based off a common sense thing, I have no data to back this up, but like if you are an American, you're 18, you go to school, I feel like 2 years would be a fair amount of time to stay in college and then go pro. All 4 could get tricky. But I feel like if you do the 2, you can learn a little bit more about routine, how to be on a schedule, which is so big. And I feel like the one, like a quote that Sinner and Alcaraz have mastered more than anybody is, it's like, I forget who said it initially, but it's like if I win the championship, I practice tomorrow. If I lose the championship, I practice tomorrow. And it's like, you can tell that's both of their mindsets of, it sucks they lost. You see Sinner in tears at French Open, but regardless win or lose, he's back on the court the next day. Like, Sinner was out there today grinding. Whereas I don't know if the same can be said for every single one of them.
For sure. Yeah. No. So that's a good point on like how much more most people, and I mean, we could go on forever. We're going to talk hopefully next week to Coach Connor Casey about some hot takes, but like you see Gorney Vinicevic roasting Tsitsipas for saying he's like out of shape, essentially.
He was going in on him.
That was crazy. Like you'd be fired so fast if you're my coach. I don't know about you, but there's like, for some reason you just assume that every guy or girl is giving 100%. They're definitely not.
Right.
A lot of them definitely are not.
And a lot of them are honest about it. I mean, there's so many guys out there. They're like, I don't want to play all these events. I want to spend more time doing the other things I like doing. And that's fine.
But like, I could see someone like Tsitsipas, like he's not I bet you anything he's not as disciplined as like Sinner, like in the gym and stuff like that. And there's reasons a lot of time. Like some people do work meticulously hard. There's like been examples of that, and then they just have hit the limiter of their talent or their physicality.
Right. I honestly feel like Zverev is a pretty good example of, I feel like he probably does so much for his game and he just can't, no matter what he does, it's ultimately going to come down to Sinner or Alcaraz having the bad day. which has to be insane.
And Zverev's a whole other thing. To me, Zverev's like 100% in here. Like he should have a few, like him. I think who he lost to, I forget who he lost to at Wimbledon.
Yeah,
it was early. It was like the second round, I think. But people were joking on X. It's like, watch the match point of him losing, and it's just like a perfect description of why he loses those matches. And he's just literally standing at the back of the court, like 10 feet behind it, rolling balls back down the middle, and he's waiting for Rinderknech, who he lost to, to just take, be the brave player, like where Sinner in the final. And Sinner against Zverev in the final of the Australian Open, which I know, you just got to be brave. Like, I don't know.
Right.
People hate getting passed at the net. You know what I mean? Like when you come forward to volley and it's just safer to stay at the baseline. But in a way, like you'd rather get passed at the net than just eventually make an unforced error or just let this guy hit winners by you or him.
Because they're not going to mess up. Like,
or like
they're going to always hit the ball in for 99% of the time.
Yeah, you're right. Like the top level, like everyone is there for a reason. They're there because they can go out and win a match. They're not just waiting for their opponent to lose. But so many times Zverev is waiting for his opponent to lose. Anyways, we're just kind of giving random strays to everyone right now at the end of this episode. Shelton's getting them, Tsitsipas, Zverev. But yeah, that was a great episode talking about Sinner Alcaraz, greatest rivalry in sport right now. I'm just gonna say it.
Yep.
And Anisamova should hold her head high.
All of it, man. Oh, an epic Wimbledon, tons of upsets. Would like to see some bigger names make it further, but that is the best part about tennis. There's another tournament the very next week. We got another major coming in, all these hard courts. We've seen too many good matches in Montreal, Toronto, Cincinnati to not be excited for everything that's to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, I cannot wait. That's all I got for the podcast this week, JP.
That's all I got as well. You guys need to subscribe. You need to leave a comment. You need to go back and watch the other breakdown videos that Steven did on the slice during Wimbledon. And then you also need to turn the notifications on the YouTube channel so that you know when tournament previews are going on, podcast episodes are dropping, all of the things. But thanks for being here. Thanks for watching this one. Again, subscribe if you can. And we'll see you next week.